In 1979, a science horror film emerged from the darkness of space and changed cinema forever. But behind Ridley Scott's masterpiece lies a production filled with secrets that would make your skin crawl. From an alien designed by a surrealist artist to actors who were caught completely off guard by the Chestburster scene, Alien concealed mysteries that rival anything in the Nostromo's corridors. So today, let's dive into 20 secrets hidden for decades behind Alien. Stay with me, because some of these revelations will completely change how you will watch this masterpiece. Number 1. The cast didn't know about the Chestburster scene. One of the most iconic moments in horror history worked because the actors were deliberately kept in the dark. The cast knew something would occur during the dinner scene, but they had absolutely no idea about the scale of what was about to unfold. When the chestburster erupted from Kane's body, the reactions weren't performances, they were pure shock. The horror frozen on the actor's face is genuine because none of them were prepared for what they were witnessing. The cast wasn't warned, they weren't rehearsed, they weren't protected from the mess. Veronica Cartwright was so overwhelmed, she reportedly fell backward between takes. Ridley Scott wanted authenticity at any cost, and by keeping the cast in the dark, he captured one of the most visceral, unforgettable reactions ever put on film. Number 2. H.R. Giger designed the alien from his darkest obsessions. The xenomorph's nightmarish form was born from the unsettling imagination of Swiss artist H.R. Giger. Long before Alien, Giger's work explored themes of death, sexuality, and machinery fused into flesh. When Ridley Scott discovered his biomechanical paintings, he knew he had found something truly alien. Giger threw himself into the creature's design with obsessive intensity, often working through the night. Every curve, texture, and silhouette was shaped by imagery meant to disturb on a subconscious level. The result wasn't just a monster, but a living nightmare, a creature that radiates a quiet, psychosexual menace, bypassing logical and triggering primal fear before the viewer even understands why. Number 3. The Nostromo was a deliberately claustrophobic set. Unlike modern films that rely heavily on green screens, the Nostromo spaceship was constructed as a massive, practical environment. The sets were intentionally designed with lower ceilings to create a more claustrophobic and oppressive atmosphere. This design choice made the corridors feel genuinely trapping and also had the effect of making the 7-foot-tall alien appear even more imposing within the confined spaces. The ship's oppressive atmosphere wasn't just acting, it was environmental. Number 4. Balaji Badejo was discovered in a bar. The man inside the alien costume wasn't a professional actor. Balaji Badejo was a Nigerian design student in London when a casting director spotted him in a Soho pub. At nearly 7 feet tall with an incredibly slender build, Badejo possessed exactly the inhuman proportions Scott was seeking. He had zero acting experience, but his natural movements gave the xenomorph an outworldly quality no trained performer could replicate. After Alien, Badejo returned to Nigeria and never acted again. He passed away in 1992, but his contributions to cinema remains immortal. Number 5. The derelict ship was massive and impractical. That enormous alien spacecraft wasn't a miniature. The derelict ship's interior was built at enormous scale, with the space jockey chamber constructed so large that actors felt genuinely dwarfed. The fossilized alien pilot was a full-sized practical effect, towering over the crew. Building at this scale created massive production challenges, but the payoff was immense. The space jockey sparked decades of fan theories, eventually spawning the prequel film Prometheus. Number 6. Ridley Scott filmed at glacial pace for tension. Scott deliberately slowed down the film's pacing to build unbearable suspense. Scenes linger on empty corridors, hold on characters' faces too long, let silence stretch until it becomes uncomfortable. This was calculated psychological warfare on the audience. The alien appears relatively little, but its presence dominates because Scott makes every moment feel pregnant with danger. Studio executives wanted faster cuts and more action. Scott refused, and time proved him absolutely right. Number 7. The facehugger was operated by hand. That horrifying parasitic creature wasn't animatronic. Special effects artists wore the facehugger like a glove, manually operating its legs and tail from just outside the frame. The creature's disturbingly organic movements came from human hands mimicking predatory behavior. The acid blood scene used chemicals that created real smoke and burned through the ship's floor. Each take required fresh setup because the acid actually damaged the set. Number 8. Sigourney Weaver was an unknown risk. Casting Ripley was one of sci-fi's most important decisions, and it almost didn't happen. Weaver was virtually unknown, with minimal film experience and no action credentials. Studio executives wanted a proven star, preferably male. Scott and the producers fought for Weaver because they recognized something special. She brought intelligence, strength, and vulnerability in equal measure. The studio remained nervous throughout production. Then audiences recognized Ripley as revolutionary, creating a template for strong women in action films that's still influential today. Number 9. The crew personalized their uniforms. The uniforms worn by the Nostromo crew were designed by Weyland-Yutani Company Gear, but each crew member's costume was crafted to show individuality and reflect their personality. Brett wore a Hawaiian shirt, Parker wore a headband, and Lambert wore cowboy boots. These personal touches reflected each character's personality and their subtle resistance to corporate conformity. The worn appearance of the uniforms came from deliberate costume design choices meant to make the crew look like actual working-class spacers rather than pristine military personnel. Scott minimized makeup and hairstyling, preferring the cast to look exhausted and unglamorous, which made these costume details even more meaningful. Number 10. John Hurt was a last-minute replacement. The actor who became the face of the Chestburster scene almost never got the role. Scott's original choice for Kane was John Finch, best known for his role in Roman Polanski's Macbeth. However, on the very first day of filming, Finch collapsed on set. He was a diabetic who had neglected to take his insulin and had been consuming excessive amounts of Coca-Cola, causing him to become dangerously ill. With production already underway, Scott needed a replacement immediately. John Hurt, who had previously been committed to a film in South Africa, was now available and living in London, close from the set. Scott drove to his home, offering him the role on the spot, and Hurt accepted with remarkable trust, beginning filming the very next morning. This last-minute casting decision proved to be inspired, as Hurt's performance became iconic. Number 11. Jerry Goldsmith's score was largely rejected. Legendary composer Jerry Goldsmith created an elaborate orchestral score that emphasized wonder and beauty alongside horror. Scott disagreed fundamentally, wanting spare, minimal music that emphasized silence and ambient sound. Most of Goldsmith's carefully composed score ended up replaced or removed entirely, leaving scenes to play with only the ship's mechanical sounds. Goldsmith was reportedly frustrated by the decision, but the final sound design became influential in creating the film's oppressive atmosphere. Number 12. The self-destruct sequence built unbearable tension. When Ripley activates the self-destruct system, the countdown represents 10 minutes in the film's narrative. Scott choreographed every action to fit within this time frame, creating mounting tension through precise pacing and editing. Weaver had to run specific distances and perform specific actions, all timed to match the countdown's progression. The result is almost unbearably tense because the timing feels real and earned. Number 13. Ash's milk blood was food-based. When android Ash is revealed and attacked, that white fluid pouring from his wounds is edible. The special effects team used milk products and food-based materials to create the android blood. Ian Holm endured multiple takes covered in this sticky, disgusting mixture that got into his eyes, mouth, and hair. The milk-based fluid began smelling terrible under hot studio lights, adding another layer of discomfort to already challenging scenes. Number 14. Ron Cobb's concept art defined the Nostromo's aesthetic. While H.R. Giger designed the alien and its environment, concept artist Ron Cobb was responsible for designing the Nostromo spaceship and much of the film's technology. Cobb created the distinctive industrial aesthetic that defined the vessel. Cobb's work established the visual language of the Nostromo as a utilitarian space freighter rather than a sleek military vessel, grounding the film in a more realistic vision of space travel. Number 15. Brett's death scene was filmed in brutal conditions. The scene where Brett is killed was shot with an enormous amount of water cascading from the overhead pipes, creating a challenging and uncomfortable environment. Water made the floor dangerously slippery and limited visibility for Harry Dean Stanton. Multiple takes meant Stanton spent an entire day drenched and uncomfortable in his regular clothes. The combination of water, slippery surfaces, and the need for precise movement created genuine physical difficulty. His authentic disorientation and struggle in the scenes comes from the real discomfort of performing under such harsh conditions. Number 16. The alien was barely visible on purpose. Scott deliberately kept the xenomorph in shadows and partial view throughout most of the film. This wasn't budget-saving concealment, it was psychological strategy. The less clearly audiences see the alien, the more terrifying it becomes. Our imagination fills in gaps with something worse than any design could deliver. Brief glimpses and shadows create a monster that exists as much in viewers' minds as on the screen. Number 17. The film won the Academy Award for Visual Effects. Alien became a landmark achievement in visual effects when it won the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects in 1980. The award recognized the combined efforts of H.R. Giger for creature and set design and the entire visual effects team. The film's groundbreaking practical effects, innovative creature design, and seamless integration of miniatures and full-scale sets established new standards for science fiction filmmaking. The success of Alien's visual effects influenced generations of filmmakers and special effects artists. Number 18. The production budget was modest for its scope. With a production budget of approximately $11 million, Alien was considered a significant investment for 1979, yet modest compared to other major studio productions. The film's remarkable return on investment, grossing over $104 million worldwide, demonstrated the power of creative vision and practical effects over massive budgets. This financial success proved that intelligent science fiction could compete with big-budget action films, influencing studio decisions about funding innovative genre films for decades to come. Number 19. Yaphet Kotto's improvisation added authenticity. The actor playing Parker, Yaphet Kotto, brought a naturalistic energy to his performance and was encouraged by Ridley Scott to improvise. This freedom allowed Kotto to ad-lib and shape his character's working-class frustrations and interactions, making the crew feel more real and lived in. His contributions helped make Parker more than just a secondary character. Number 20. The film nearly received an X rating. The chestburster scene and other moments of graphic horror nearly earned Alien an X rating during early MPAA screenings. Such a rating would have crippled its release, prompting Ridley Scott and the studio to argue that the film wasn't exploitative. After minor edits and negotiations, it received an R rating, narrowly avoiding censorship. The close call highlights how shocking the film was in 1979. Alien succeeded because Ridley Scott and his team refused to compromise their vision, even when it meant taking enormous risks. From Giger's artistic brilliance to practical effects that pushed everyone to their limits, every choice served the film's claustrophobic terror. But what if decades before, another filmmaker was already reshaping how cinema portrayed the cosmos? Check out our video on 2001: A Space Odyssey. In 1968, Kubrick's monumental vision of space exploration laid the foundation for every ambitious sci-fi film that came after, including Alien itself. In space, no one can hear you scream. But down here, we can share the stories behind the screams. See you next time!